Hello, friends, and welcome to 10 Points Under, where coming up with a catchphrase is the hardest part of the show. I'm True.
And I'm Taylor. Or Bigga. Bullfrog. Or Taylor.
Or is it Bullfrog Taylor? Or is it Bullfrog Bigga? Or is it
Bigga
Bigga
Bull
Taylor? Yeah, there you go.
I'm partial to Bigga Tay myself still.
Bigga Tay. And he's Bigga Tay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a ring to it. Well, welcome, guys. Taylor, what are we doing this week?
So this week, we've got the beginning of another Online Heroscape tournament season thingy-majigger. This is Online Heroscape Season 34, and it is a Bring 2 format. And we're coming at you with Round 1 right now, everybody. It is a little bit late. Round 1 is over at this point, but hey, better late than never. We got some cool games, and we'll be following it, doing as many games as I can get recorded, and we'll see how many games that turns out to be. It's good stuff. So, just really quick about the format. This is a Bring 2 format, 555-point armies with a 13 figure limit. So, high point, small figures. It's a fun one to think of armies for. But for those of you who don't know how Bring 2 works, basically both players bring 2 armies that are within that point limit. And then there's a dice off. The person who wins can pick the army that they want to use out of the 4 armies present. They can pick from their own armies or the armies that their opponent brings. And then the other guy picks from the remaining 3 armies, and then they duke it out.
Yeah, it is a very interesting tournament, just because you kind of have to bring 2 armies that can kind of beat each other.
Yeah, because if you bring like one really, really strong army and then one army that's just, good but not great, then all you have to do is pick the really, really strong army to win. And I guess you could just kind of rely on the dice off and just count on winning that and picking the really strong army. But, I mean, that's relying on dice, and why would you do that?
Yeah, if Heroscape has taught us anything, it's that the dice can be a very vindictive mistress.
Yep.
But yeah, this sounds like a pretty fun game. Chris being a returning guest on this channel, so.
Oh yeah, he's been in easily the most videos on our channel. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's been on the most. He's a really good player. Love watching him play every time. We do have Chris Perkins up on the left side. Top left, he's running a real hodgepodge of an army. He's got 1 squad of Knights of Weston with Alistair and McDirk, and then 1 squad of 4th Mass, plus 1 squad of Templar Cavalry and Sergeant Drake. So, just a classic, pure Valiant army.
Yep.
That's a little more spicy than your classic full Valiant army. It's cool. I like it. And he's playing. Down on the right, we've got Soundwarp SG-1, who this is his first time on our channel, but he's a pretty prominent member of the Scapers community. He is involved with the SOV. He's involved in C3G. He does a lot of cool stuff. Recently, there was Krognak riding a Triceratops released. He's the guy doing the Triceratops bits of that. He's a really cool guy. I'm a Soundwarp fan.
Neat. This should be a very interesting battle, especially since those 4th Mass will have that Valiant bonus, but we also got some Deathwalkers.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited to see some explosions happen.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't talk about the army for Soundwarp, but yeah, like True said, we do have Deathwalker 9,000, Deathwalker 8,000, Deathwalker 7,000, and Death Commander Mark III along with Cursus. Death Commander Mark III and Cursus are both C3V custom, official, unofficial, custom, dealio, blah, blah, blah. Guys, cards in the description below if you want to check them out if you don't know what they do. But basically, Death Commander kind of, sort of helps the Deathwalkers. We'll talk about it in game as it comes up.
Alrighty, well, let's get it started, my dude, and
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
All right.
So looks, just seeing some order markers here, that Chris is going to be starting off with knights. Very interesting. Good choice, since they're very slow.
Right?
Just
Yeah.
looking at these armies here, Taylor. What are some predictions that you'd like to throw down?
I'd like to predict a lot of weirdness and some necessarily high-level plays. Yeah, this is an interesting hodgepodge of two armies that we've got right here. And lots of shenanigans that can happen on this map. This is an interesting map as well. You'll notice right now there's a little bit of conversation going on about how Chris really wanted to win that round 1 initiative right there, because Deathwalker 9000 being on road means it can run up and bomb the start zone.
Very interesting. That does risk the Deathwalker getting blown up right away, but if you can get an early start zone explosion, that could be pretty potent.
Yeah, exactly. Deathwalkers are always fun. I love playing with Deathwalkers personally because I guess I just love putting my life in the hands of the dice and sweating every time I roll 9 or 10 defense dice with them and just fearing that blank. But
yes, Deathwalker defense. It's never the 5 skulls that you have to worry about. It's the 1 skull.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if it's 5 skulls, I'm like, well, I've got this. I'm fine. Roll a casual 6 or 7 shields, but against 1 skull,
it's always a blank.
Oh yeah.
Always a blank.
Every time.
I'm a little bit torn here. I want to root for these Deathwalkers, but it's hard for me to want to root for them when I just know that these Valiants might just rip them to shreds. It's gonna be heartbreaking to watch.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a gamble playing Deathwalkers every time. I like seeing them succeed, but it's also one of those things where, even if it hurts when they die, it's kind of fun to watch it happen when they blank with 11 dice.
It's real good.
But
or you just see 0 skulls get rolled.
Yep, that is also a fact of life.
It gets me every time.
Yeah, Chris had nothing to worry about from that Deathwalker blitz, fortunately for him, unfortunately for Soundwarp. I do think that was the right play because that's a nice little piece of level 2 ground to go for. So, I mean, it's always worth trying to get that explosion and getting some damage in and going that far forward. But, yeah, you don't want to see those 0 skulls.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And now that it's Chris's second turn, he'll be able to unpod up as much as possible and spread out his units so that he can't get quite as good of explosions on that.
Yep. Exactly. Also, since the Deathwalker is so far forward, he can start getting hits on it faster now. He cannot quite reach it with his knights yet, but if he overextends with Alistair, he can get next to Deathwalker. And, I mean, yeah, that's a nice defensive piece of ground for the Deathwalker.
Yeah.
But you just kind of want to get in a lot of hits, and because eventually you'll break through.
Here's the question, though. Which Deathwalker is the most important in this battle right now? Is it 9,000 or is it 8,000?
So I think, it kind of comes down to how it's played. I think at this point, maybe still 9,000, because 9,000 has a base 4 attack, I believe. Let me double check and make sure I'm not completely off base.
That is correct, Taylor.
Yeah.
4 attack. You have won our round of this game show of What Is That Attack?
Yeah.
You win nothing.
I mean, I've had worse.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, with that base 4 attack, that's going to be able to punch through the knight's defense, it's going to be able to punch through Alistair's high life fairly well. And so otherwise, 8,000 being able to inflict multiple wounds in one go without relying on your opponent to pot up is also pretty good. I've had some really good games with Deathwalker 8,000, but
For sure. It's going to be interesting to see what Chris does here. Looks like we're just looking over some rules right now.
yeah, he was just checking over if you have to stop on treasure glyphs or not when you're passing over them with a common figure. Which
Fair
you can.
enough. Do not have to stop and pick it up.
Yeah. It's our next little piece of Heroscape fun facts.
That's right. The game show with the most facts about Heroscape.
Yeah, I think he was really just considering right there whether or not he wanted to go overextend towards the Deathwalker, or if he wanted to play a bit more conservatively. I think overextending is maybe a little too much at this point.
I don't know. Getting an extra Deathwalker off the board seems pretty nice.
I mean, that's true
only
too.
4 figures you have to deal with rather than 5.
Right, it's a 5-figure army, and 3 of those figures have 1 life, and 1 of them has 2.
That's very true.
Curses
probably has the most life.
Yep, at 3.
With 3. All right. Well, let's hope that 9,000 can finally score some hits on the start zone. Get some cavalry out of the way. Get some.
Well, I don't know. Do you go for the start zone again, or do you try to pick off these advancing knights?
Well, if you hit the start zone, I think you get the most value for most bang for your buck, I guess.
That's true.
But the knights coming towards your start zone is actually a pretty big threat as well, because they can punch through these defense somewhat.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure what I would have done there. It looks like Soundwarp's going to retreat and take some attacks at knights or Alistair. But, I mean, if you could get another explosion attack in on the cavalry and on the 4th mass and take out both of those, that's some pretty good value, like you said. And
that's
I
the thing.
With it.
Most people, they're just scared to risk it for the biscuit.
I mean, it can be intimidating sometimes, you know?
See, he could have went for 1 wound on a 6-life hero, or he could have went for as many wounds as possible on that start zone.
That is true.
That's
it.
My name. Don't wear it out.
I believe we have worn out your name a long time ago.
But, I think, yeah.
Yeah. One nice thing about his positioning now, though, is now that he's pulled back, so on that piece of high ground that he was on, he would have been completely surrounded by Alistair knights. Right there, one of the knights can't get engaged to the Deathwalker, so he delays 1 attack.
Very fair.
Which is nice. At the same time, though, that's 1 attack. But at the same time, it only takes 1 attack when you're a Deathwalker. So, you know, that's one of the tricky things about Deathwalker is it's always going to be a risk.
That's right. You always got to risk it for that biscuit.
Oh my gosh.
And that's 2-0 attacks for Chris Perkins.
Yep.
He's using up those overextends just like SG-1 wants.
Yep.
Hope Soundwarp. Man, if only that was 7,000 right there in the middle. Then he could just blow up.
That'd be nice.
Everything would be fine.
Oh my gosh, 0 skulls out of 10 dice. That's pretty nuts. But hey, I mean, we're looking for that in the Deathwalker too, right? 0 shields on 10 dice.
That's right. And it's more plausible with the Deathwalker. Oh, 2 skulls. 2 skulls again.
Yeah, rolled too many dice that first time, but easy 4 shields. Deathwalker's yawning. That wasn't 1 skull. It's fine.
It's fine. He's not
But yeah,
sweating.
that's another thing though. Again about the positioning. Just looking back to that, if he'd stayed on that forward piece of 2 height, Alistair would not have been able to get on the same level as him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing to consider. Is he could have had height, and that's another defense die that's going to be completely useless if Alistair only rolls 1 skull. But if Alistair maxes out with 5 skulls, then that's another die to roll 5 shields with.
There you go. I agree with this logic.
Oh, okay, but this is what he was doing. I see the logic now, though. So Death Commander's coming into play, and this is a good time to explain how his kind of bonding works. I'm gonna look at the card really quick again to make sure I don't get it wrong, because it's kind of weird, to be honest. Not my favorite figure that Valhalla Customs has come out with, but just because of the weirdness of it. But so how Death Commander works is if you take a turn with it, and at the end of that turn he's engaged, then you can take a turn with basically a Deathwalker or Death Stalkers if you have them, but they're not in here. So yeah, basically by pulling back 9,000 to that piece of ground, he enabled Death Commander to be able to come up, make an attack, and then get a second turn with 9,000. And
oof,
kill Alistair.
There goes Alistair. Ooh boy. Well, that means Chris is gonna have to figure out a new strategy here coming into this next round.
Yeah, he lost his most consistent damage dealer in Alistair, being able to get that overextend attack with 2 attacks at 5. Pretty big. The Knights are still pretty good on their own, but against that high defense,
Nonsense. It's like cutting through butter. That's exactly what will happen. The question is do you switch from the Knights here since you're only running 1 squad?
Like, I think at least your first order marker is always on the Knights, because it's worth it to get those attacks in, even if you don't have a champion to bond with. The second and third order markers, it looks like Chris might be doing all 3 on the Knights, or at least 2. That can be more up to individual taste and what you're going against. I think in this case, though, you're probably only going to lose 2 Knights in a turn at most. So I think it's worth it to just take the turns with Knights and get in hits while you can.
That's fair. Looks like that's what Chris is opting to do here, too.
Yeah. And he won initiative, so it's coming out even better for him. But like also against, I like the counter argument for going with 1 squad of Knights that's forward when the rest of your army is back in your start zone, is that if you lose that forward momentum, then your opponent gets the board control. But against a 5-figure army, that's not nearly as painful as it could be.
That's true. And if Chris is lucky, maybe he just takes out a bunch of figures right here.
Hey, there's 1 skull.
Oh, there's 1. That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
See it? Oh,
okay.
5 shields, right. Man.
Oh, there's 1 skull again. Here it comes.
There we go. Oh,
very close. Dang. Very close.
Looked like he's going for Death Commander right there, too. With 2 skulls. That could kill it if the Death Commander blinked. Oh, come on.
So close.
I do, like, nothing against Soundwarp. I just really want to see some blinks.
It happens all the time. It'll happen in due time. Due time, it will happen.
You just gotta wait for it. It'll happen.
It will indeed. The question is do you opt not to attack this knight here so that you can bond with another Deathwalker?
No. Because if you... Oh, he's using a special attack. Nice. Also, Death Commander has a pretty interesting special attack where he gets to shoot out rockets from his shoulder pads. It's like a controlled explosion that he gets to use twice because it's nifty like that.
Because obviously.
Right, yeah. But I mean, like, because if you pass up the turn using Death Commander, then, and like, you might kill some figures with the Deathwalker. Oh my gosh.
And he is crushing it. Soundwarp just taking out an entire squad of knights almost in just one attack.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like, and that's why it's worth it to use the Death Commander, because you can deal a lot more damage with it potentially than you can with the other Deathwalkers, except for maybe 8,000 if you get hot with the rapid fire.
Let's just hope that Chris's whole round wasn't on the knights, because if he gets to lose a turn here, that is going to be brutal.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. That's like the bigger worry about going all in on knights when they're all forward, is losing turns. Yeah, one attack from the knight. He did get the one skull, but it wasn't against the Deathwalker, so the Death Commander was able to block it.
Oh, and here's Death Commander again. Oh no. And
happen. It's coming. It's coming. I promise. There we go. It's
okay. All right. Well, another one skull, another one shield. All right, that one knight is holding strong.
Yeah.
But now that it's engaged, he gets to take another turn, which is unfortunate.
Yep, and he gets to develop out 8,000 a little bit. Also, when this, well, let's see. I guess he's probably using his. Oh, it doesn't even matter there. But the Death Commander does have another ability to further help Utgar Soulborgs, where they get to re-roll attack dice against figures that are engaged with it. Death Commander is just a really, really busy card. Lots of stuff going on it.
Lots and lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Although Chris anticipated that the knight's not living through that, so here comes the fourth. This is probably the stronger squad in his army, to be honest.
Well, I think as long as Alistair is alive, the knights are better. Once Alistair's dead, your knights are kind of hosed anyway. Not that. I mean, they're still good. Good stats are good. But yeah, then it becomes the fourth that are the more powerhouse-y, if they can get their weight and fires.
Well, it only takes one skull, Taylor.
Yep.
One skull indeed.
Yeah, forget weight and fire. It just takes one skull. Eventually.
Eventually, yes. That's the scary thing about Deathwalkers, is they seem sturdy, but it only takes a pebble.
Mm-hmm.
Or two skulls.
Or two skulls.
See, he rolled one too many.
Yep. It's a classic mistake when playing against the Deathwalkers, is rolling too many skulls.
Classic. So much classic. We'll see if he can take out some fourth here, though. If he can take out some fourth, that really hamstrings Chris.
Yeah, and with the knights out of his start zone, Soundwarp has a lot of room to just move around, get onto the parts of the map that he wants. Right now, I'm moving Death Commander up to be able to get off some missile rocket attacks on those fourth.
Yeah, the thing about Death Commander is it is literally just a wall of text.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Death Commander's a thing. He's great. Bless his heart. Yeah. Just bless his heart. Oh, dang.
Well, there's 1/4 down.
Mm-hmm. And that is the problem with the fourth, is the lower defense means they'll probably fall faster, although jungle plus shadow is pretty nice.
Jungle plus shadow is very nice. However, this is not looking great for Chris. I figured that this Valiant army would be doing a lot better than it is, but Deathwalkers are standing strong, showing that a lot of defense makes up for one life.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, it's always really swingy when you're going with the Deathwalkers, but right now it's swinging pretty heavily in Soundwarp's favor.
Yeah, Chris is going to need to really get lucky with these weight and them fires.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, it looked like Chris was having a pretty good lead, too, early on. But, I mean, Soundwarp hasn't taken a wound yet.
And that's what he's counting on.
Yeah. Of course, every single time he takes a wound, he's going to feel it really hard.
Yeah.
But, I mean, 0 wounds on his side compared to 4, 5, 11 wounds on Chris's side.
Yeah, but the moment he kills one Deathwalker, man, it's like...
Mm-hmm. That's at least 100 points gone.
Even Death Commander, if he can take out Death Commander in this first round, then that's 2 turns potentially that he steals.
Yeah, I think that's something that he's banking on. It looks like he's going pretty heavy into the 4th again this round, which maybe would have been nice if he won initiative, because then he could probably count more on 2 solid turns from them. But
yeah,
honestly, I'm kind of surprised he's not going with Drake.
Yeah, Drake would be pretty nice in this situation. He could at least get potentially 1 or 2 wounds off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with that 6 attack, granted, the Deathwalkers and Death Commander all have special attacks, so they can ignore his Thorian speed. But, I mean, he's still really mobile and has a lot of attack, and so he can, he'll be able to get in there and get in some 6 dice attacks and roll 1 skull and kill stuff.
That's all that matters. Although, very solid blocks from Chris. Let's hope that his strategy pays off, or something along those lines.
Yeah, hopefully he's able to get into position this turn to be able to
wait and then fire.
Decks in. Yeah.
Ooh, that back 4th coming up pretty strong. Potentially.
Yeah, I wonder if he just wants to take shots at the... I mean, like, for one, when you've only got 1 squad of a ranged squad, it's always a good idea to spread them out as much as possible so that they don't all die at once, if you can avoid it.
Very true.
You also might be wanting to take some shots at the start zone, maybe? I kind of doubt that a little bit more, but I mean, if you can kill Cursus right now, then that's great.
I mean, I think it's more along the lines that he's hedging his bets, like he's not wasting attacks if he ends up killing Death Commander.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he moves that 4th up on the 2nd height, he can use that to attack Death Commander. If he's still up, he can use some of the further ones back to fire more and more, so on and so forth.
Right.
But we'll see.
Repeat.
We will see indeed. That won't do it.
Right. Yeah, I wonder if... So, like, with this 2nd 4th, I wonder if it would have been more worth it to attack down Deathwalker 8000, maybe. He really wants to kill Death Commander, which is a good idea because that's going to be the order marker hub for Soundwarp most of the time. But, I don't know. I mean, like, they're all rolling so much dice, it's hard to...
it's really hard to gauge.
Yeah. And that's probably one of the stronger points of the Deathwalkers, if you're running them in an army like this, is just kind of, I don't know, like flustering your opponent, because everything has super high defense, so there's not really an obvious choice to go for, as long as you're developing them correctly.
If I've learned anything with Deathwalkers, you just need cutters. Cutters will get the job done every time.
Yeah.
That or rats. rats will do it too.
Yeah, Cutters, the natural counter draft for Deathwalker 8000.
That's right. And you're thinking, that's very silly. Why would you ever do that? But,
True might have a story.
you think, man, during a Hordes game, Deathwalker 8000 would be great, right? Just be able to mow down as many of your hordes or your opponent's horde. But not a single kill, man. Not even a single one.
You didn't get any kills?
Nope. Not that game.
I mean, your opponent who was playing Deathwalker 8000 didn't get any kills because you wouldn't make that mistake.
That's right. I'm too good not to get any kills.
Yeah.
Looks like they're checking line of sight for that knight among the trees over there, or fourth among those trees over there.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that's a pretty solid move, though, because if he can kill that fourth in front of him, or even if he doesn't, he gets to take an additional turn.
Right, yeah. It's always nice to engage when you can. Also, I think it might have been worth... Because if you engage that fourth on the left, stayed where he was, and didn't worry about attacking the fourth by the trees, and instead shot an explosive round into the start zone to maybe kill a Templar cavalry. I don't know, I'm just seeing those Templar cavalry as big, juicy targets, and maybe Soundwarp's not super worried about them because they're so stinking expensive. But, I mean, I think if you can tear apart both squads at once...
Yeah, that's
pretty nice.
That's definitely a better way to go about it. Especially considering, Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, after you, sir.
No, after you. You started talking first.
I was just saying, picking apart both squads kind of weakens your opponent's army from two directions. It's like burning a candle at two ends. Especially where it didn't pay off that he moved there to attack that other fourth.
Right. Yeah, and it's kind of because I can see the thought process of, okay, my opponent's sword markers are probably on the fourth, so it's good to weaken that squad as much as possible right now so that his future turns are less effective. But I guess as a player, in general, not all the time, because, always depending on the situation, everything else in the world, blah, blah, blah. But in this specific situation, I see a lot of value in making sure that both of his squads are whatever that word I'm looking for is.
Weakened?
Weakened, yes.
Yeah, and I could see it. It's kind of a juggling act, trying to figure out which squad is the most important here. I was just thinking, him being engaged with that fourth, it's guaranteed to die at least with 2 attacks of 3. And then if you get lucky and kill him the first time, you get to make an attack at 2 other figures, potentially weakening Drake or the cavalry. So I don't know.
Yeah, especially because Drake is... I see Drake as a big concern because of all of that attack in one figure. I see the cavalry as also a decent concern because they get a huge amount of attack when they first charge in. Although, either way, I think the biggest mistake is if he was going to go for both of them, he could have just stayed by that jungle tree in the middle.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, because a lot of this is personal player stuff as far as whether you weaken squads or just completely destroy a single squad first. But I definitely think you should have stayed by that jungle tree. But hey, now he's gonna get a shot into the start zone.
Yep, with Deathwalker 8000 too. So I guess this is effectively the same. I guess we'll see if this pays out. But killing one of the fourth there really helped.
Yeah, that's for sure. And the fourth are basically more or less irrelevant with just one member left at this point, too.
Yeah, not having as many attacks, that's kind of backbreaking.
Oh, and that's Chris going into Templar now. Good thing
Oh,
that Templar did not
wow.
die.
Yeah, see, that's where I guess we're looking outside looking in perspective, but man, that would have turned out really well.
Yeah.
Crippling one of the Templar there, heck yeah.
Yeah, I would have seen a lot of value in that. Especially with these charges that he's going to be able to get off too. And also, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2. Also, if he had retreated the Deathwalker or Death Commander to the palm tree in the middle, only one of those Templar would be able to get adjacent to Death Commander instead of
Now it's
at least two. If not, I think he could get all three adjacent to
4,
it if
5,
he
6, 7, 8.
tried.
Yeah, he could get 2 on lower ground and 1 on even ground. Looks like.
Mhm.
I'm not really sure what he's planning on doing here, though.
Looks like, let's see, is he going to go for... No, Chris Perkins, what are you doing?
What are you doing, my dude?
I don't know, maybe
Let's
he doesn't
see,
want
1,
to
2, 3,
overcommit, but...
4, 5,
Because
6,
that
7,
middle
8.
Templar could have gotten onto the even ground. And then you could have gotten all three of them to attack the Death Commander. Maybe he doesn't want to group up too much because there are a lot of explosion attacks in that army. But even then, you'd still take even ground.
Yeah, none of those to
Oh.
really explode. Okay. All right. Well,
Oh, okay, I see what was going on. Okay, never mind. I thought he just killed both, but he did not. Just one wound.
1 wound on Death Commander.
Which is still nice. But yeah, definitely that middle Templar should be on the even ground to spread them out more to dodge explosions, as well as, get extra dice from height. But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's Perkins anyway.
I can't say I agree with Chris's move there. I just feel like that was kind of a not efficient way to use your Templar. Although maybe he's seeing something that I'm not, which is completely possible.
Yeah. Let us know, Chris.
Yes, leave a comment down below about how we're bumbling idiots.
Yeah.
Because that's the show, is us rambling into mics.
Oh yeah, you know it. We're not really trying to tear anybody apart except for Flash when he comes on.
Oh yeah, definitely just Flash.
Just Flash.
Well, Chris winning initiative there, that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, that's nice. It lets him reposition his Templar a little bit. He can swing around that north one onto even height to attack. No, wait, hang on. Is there a way that he could have... So the Templar only get their galloping charge bonus if they start at least 4 clear sight spaces away from the figure they're charging into, which means that the north one is too close to Death Commander to get it. I wonder if there was a way he could have gotten to Deathwalker 8000, maybe? I'm not certain, but it looks like he's just going to kind of position around and get some decent hits in. So the Templar have a natural attack +1 against Utgar figures, so that's nice.
Which is almost Soundwarp's entire army.
Yeah.
Ironically enough. See, it looks like he is trying to get up even with Deathwalker here, or Death Commander. I mean, I think I would just go for 3 attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully kill Death Commander or Deathwalker 8000.
Yeah, or both if you can. Like, ideally, one of his first attacks will go through on the Death Commander, and then he'll kill off the 8000, but we'll see.
We will see indeed.
One skull?
One skull.
Skull? And it's Death Commander, it's not Deathwalker, so, it makes sense.
That's true. That's very true. Ooh, that was really close, though. I think if I was Chris, I would just attack 8. 8 Walker there.
Yeah, 8 Walker's pretty dangerous right now. Gets the block though.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because Death Commander is definitely that's if he put his order markers on Death Commander, which I would be spooked too if he was only at half life.
Yeah, that's true. Although, I mean, he still has just as much life as the rest of the figures in your army too.
That's very true.
But
That's
I
very
mean,
true.
I can see where you wouldn't want to take that gamble. Oh, but also 0 skulls.
Yeah, 0 skulls.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say that Deathwalker 8000 is still a decent choice because of rapid fire against 3 defense units, but you know,
Not in that position.
yeah, if you blink, it's not quite as good, unfortunately.
See, this is kind of what Chris was hoping for, though. Like, this could be a very swingy moment where he could just kill both of his figures, take an extra turn, and
Yeah, that'd be huge for Chris if he can pull that off.
And then off to the races. There's 1 skull. Nope. All right. Okay.
3 skulls? That's too many.
Oh, that's far too many. See, he blocked it.
Yep.
That's how this game works.
Fewer attack dice, Chris. Fewer.
Soundwarp saying that was close. I can only agree with him.
Yeah. I mean, it's always close with Deathwalkers. If they roll a skull, it's close.
Yep. There's 2 shields.
Yeah.
That's not good.
It's interesting. I do like this little battle going on here between a bunch of C-level figures.
Chris saying it's the longest Templar have ever lived and also the least they've killed.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a good amount of charges and yeah, just a lot of dice rolling and nothing dying right now.
Oh, and here comes Drake.
Hey,
and there goes Death Commander.
There it goes.
That's a big old bummer. One of the Deathwalkers have finally gone down.
Yep, first figure that Soundwarp has lost.
Oh, man.
And he's still not killing those horses.
No, none at all. At this point, do you just go for a normal attack, or is just the special attack too swingy not to go for?
Well, with Deathwalker 8000, the normal and the special attack are rolling the same dice. They're both 3 attack. So, yeah, I mean, you just always go for the special attack there. But, yeah, in all honesty, against 3 defense figures, you can usually expect for that rapid fire to go off at least once by now. That was the full round with no damage getting done.
Oh, man, but if Soundwarp can get the initiative here, Deathwalker 9000 could just come and bombard the 3 Templar.
That is true.
And that looks like that's going to be the case.
Yep. Order marker 1 on Deathwalker 9000. Feel like he should probably move over to that piece of 2 height that he was on earlier and take a nice explosion into the middle there.
Agreed. But does not look to be the case. Just going to stay put and launch 1 skull at them.
So it's not quite what he was hoping for, but hey, it was better than his last explosion attack.
That's true. That's very true.
All around though. Holy cow. Holy cow.
Chris is making up for his 2 attacks of 5 missing during the first round.
Yeah, he's making up for it with just pure defense dice.
He's like, I'll show you. If I can't block, or if I can't hit you, you just can't hit me.
Just gonna John Cena the crap out of this. Going for a charge on Deathwalker. And going for a charge on 7000 too. Dang.
Ooh, this is...
those Templar are so stinking mobile. I love it.
8 move, man. 8 move gets you across the map.
It's good. If only... I mean, and turns out they've got really good defense too.
Apparently. Although he's going to have to roll less skulls for that. Oh, and there goes
He
7,000.
got 7,000.
And then, maxed out his attack again.
8,000. Holy cow.
Two of the thousands down for the count.
Holy cow. He just killed 15,000.
15,000.
I don't know. 15,000 death stuff.
Deathwalker 15,000 to be released. It's like
gosh. Can we make like the Voltron of the Deathwalkers?
Like if you start all the Deathwalkers next to each other, you can remove them off the board and place Deathwalker 21,000 on
or something like that.
1 million.
That would be awesome.
Yikes! Soundwarp not getting any breaks on his attacks.
Yeah, that was a heavy attack of 5 and still blocked. Man.
Chris saying Templar can't die.
Yeah, these Templar are on a crusade.
I have to agree with him. He is ripping through robots now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if the Templar can finish this out.
Wheeling them all in for a nice big attack on 9,000.
Yep. This is more of what I was expecting to happen. I'll be honest.
It just took a little while.
Okay, 3 dice.
Although I don't know that anybody's really expecting Templar to live like this.
And there goes 9,000.
Yeah.
No more attacks from Chris Perkins. I think Soundwarp is in shock. And
but as we all know.
I was going to see Templar, they just do work, man.
Yeah, man. They're a 120-point squad for a good reason.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, he was far enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, both of them are.
Oh, okay. I thought it was more than 4. Understandable that you might misremember what the Templar do.
I mean, they're not played too much. Hey, and you know what? Soundwarp's not out of this game yet. Curses is a big, formidable monkey, so...
That is true. He's still got a big monkey, but looks like he's just going to call the GG right there.
Fair enough. Dang. That was a game to behold, for sure.
Yeah, definitely not something you see every day. A game where no Templar cavalry die.
Yep. And also all the Deathwalkers living until the last half of that game.
Yeah, and then they all died in 2 or 3 consecutive turns.
It was like 1 round. They were all gone.
About like that, yeah. It was pretty gross.
Holy cow.
I would say though, really good play from both players. I think they both handled their armies really well. Especially considering, these are both pretty hodgepodgey armies, and I thought both of them were doing really well.
Yeah, very well positioned, and everything seemed to work out. But hot dog, that was
another one.
That was quite the game.
It was something else. The kind of gameplay you'll only see here at 10 Points Under.
The game show with the most trivia.
Oh, we should do more trivia. I still need to make trivia cards. That'd be great.
And then we could do the
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, this has been 10 Points Under, the show where you get to hear lovely music like that.
All the time. Stay tuned for True's new hit single.
That's right. All right, Mr. Taylor. Any closing thoughts?
Oh, you know it, True. I do have some thoughts about the world and its gloriousness. That it's pretty glorious. But other than that, good game.
It's certainly a world and gloriousness, and it was certainly a good game. Well, all right, guys. I have been your host, True Mary. You can find me on Heroscapers as True Mary. Taylor, where can they find you?
On Heroscapers as Big Bullfrog. Yeah, I don't really do the other social medias. So
Who would? I would much rather be on an ancient website that needs a little bit of updating.
just a bit.
Just like a little bit.
Just a little bit. I mean,
Not-
honestly though, like Heroscapers is my Facebook. I've been on it so long that I know how to navigate it better than I know how to navigate stuff like Facebook and the other newer stuff. So
Big oof. Or big oof on Facebook.
yeah, take that, Facebook.
But all right, guys, we will see you guys all next time. If you like this kind of content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. And we will see you in the next video.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Bye. And see you.